Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of Your Mom's Podcast, the only podcast worth walking out on a date with one of Degrassi's coolest girls. I'm Avis,
And I'm Caroline.
and today we'll be discussing the first two episodes of Degrassi The Next Generation Mother and Child Reunion, Parts 1 and 2.
To get us started with our pilot episode, I thought it would be nice to maybe talk a little bit about our relationship with Degrassi and what brought us together here.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
um, so I actually came to Degrassi in seventh grade. I took a little class called Family Consumer Science, also known as home ec. Um, and we actually didn't learn any family consumer science. We watched a mystery themed video about laundry our first week, and then the rest of the time we just watched Degrassi Junior High. I'm 35 years old. I can't sew a button, but I can sing you the Degrassi theme song from memory. And if you give me enough tequila, I will. Um, and then I discovered Next Generation in like my freshman year and watched those kids all the way until I think I watched till like Shantae graduated. And then I was like, I'm 23 years old. I can't keep watching Degrassi. Um, and then when I was the year I turned 30, my best friend passed away pretty unexpectedly. And I don't know why, but something inside me was like, Degrassi will make you feel better. And so I watched, I think again, really only until Shantae was there. Um, or Shantae was gone. But it did. It really helped with my grieving process. And then I wanted people to talk about it with, so I went to the group and from there decided to watch the whole thing. I think it's a little silly. Sometimes there's a lot to make fun of, but ultimately, it's a show that tackles a lot of really heavy stuff that kids are dealing with. And if they're not dealing with it, someone they know might be dealing with it. And I think it's a really great resource for our kids, honestly.
I actually got back into Degrassi during the pandemic. Like a lot of people, I was home alone, bored. I literally binged the entire series, and for some reason got caught up in the era where Ashley was had her short hair and was singing to Jimmy, and I started live posting in it was called 2021, and Degrassi is still in my mind at that time. I started posting in that group and got re-engaged with people like I would have never met outside of Facebook. And I was really excited and engaged every morning to wake up and like talk to the people in this group. And I was tapped to become a mod for the group, and I loved interacting with everybody on that level. It was cool to like break up internet scuffles and stuff related to Degrassi. That group failed for a number of reasons, not going to get into. Started a new group that I'm an admin for, and in that time, I realized how much I really wanted Degrassi to be a part of my life, so I championed starting a new group. And that was in the middle of that time. I met Bianca, I met Caroline, and a number of other people, and we started doing roundtables on YouTube. They were awesome, just really long form. And I felt like this could be something that could be monetized. This could be something that's like I do as like a career. I got it way ahead of myself. But that's how the podcast came together. And it really is just like a culmination of me loving the show and watching the show way too much, being able to quote it. I started in reruns of the first season, and I've seen every season multiple times. I I have an issue with binging, so I will definitely start from the beginning and just go straight through. I also, during the pandemic, discovered Degrassi Junior High and Degrassi High, and had an 80s, couple months, because then I just started devouring everything Canadian and 80s, which honestly was so much fun. So it really is a show that's taught me a lot. as a child, but it's taught me more as an adult because I look back and I'm like, oh my gosh, all of the lessons that I would have probably had to learn the hard way if it was not for the show are countless. And the lessons that I learned the hard way and then watched on the show are also countless. So it's a dual road, and I'm just really thankful for it in my life because I don't really know another show that's like affected me at so many points of my life because there are just so many things that aren't rewatchable and that are just a time in your life and that's it. But Degrassi's been me from like around 12 to 28. So it's really
Hmm.
cool to come full circle and be talking about it in a critical sense. So really excited.
So a little bit about just kind of the format of the show. There's so much Degrassi
Mhm.
that taking it episode by episode didn't really make sense. And we'll probably switch it up season to season, but this time around we're doing two to three Degrassi episodes per episode of Your Mom's Podcast.
Mhm.
Especially, season one like starts with a bang, but then the stakes aren't really that high for a lot of it. And so we're going to start by giving kind of a recap of the episodes. And we discovered actually in our Degrassi group that I'm the queen of skills that are not marketable. I am,
Except when they are, Caroline.
except when they
Except
are,
when they are.
I'm really good at coming up with roses or red style poems
Hmm.
about Degrassi. And I think overall we're going to try and keep them to like 4 lines, maybe 8 per episode if there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
I went a little overboard for Mother and Child Reunion parts 1 and 2, but in my defense, a lot is
I
happening.
think that there's really nothing that could have been like cut for there's everything's important. I was
Everything's important. And so we will go ahead and we will try that format. Give us a couple of weeks. If you hate it, let us know.
yeah.
Roses are red. Emma's 12 and sassy. It's the 10-year reunion here at Degrassi. Lucy's in town and wants Joey to enjoy life, but he's still hung up on his poor dead wife. Caitlin's fiance sucks, and Toby is wary that Emma's internet boyfriend is really quite scary. Caitlin gave dating advice, even though she should not. She said, "Go for it, Emma," assuming he's hot. So Emma got sneaky and canceled her plans so she could meet Jordan in her cool dolphin pants. Manny thought that was sus, so she assembled the crew to hack Emma's email. What else could they do? Toby was right. Jordan's an old man, but Snake saved the day like only Snake can. Episodes 1 and 2 come in strong. They say, hey, Degrassi, it fucking goes there. Like, we've watched these first 3 episodes a couple of times now, taking notes, getting ready for this episode.
Hmm.
I, Mother and Child Reunion Part 2, I have not been able to watch past once Emma gets to the hotel room
And that's
more than
you know
once.
what? And Caroline, I clocked that. That's 5 minutes in the bitch. That's
Yeah, and
five
it's
minutes in
just,
that they get that she gets. I'm like, you know what? They are coming in motherfucking hot. They're not playing. Like if you
mm-mm,
want to stop when
mm-mm.
she gets to the hotel, and honestly, like that whole like the setup for it, you think Mother and Child Reunion Part One is like slow, and then you get to the second part, and you're like, okay, like this is the heartbeat because like I didn't realize how soon she gets to the hotel. She has one scene in the house, and then she talks to Manny on the phone, and then she leaves, and
Right. Yeah,
it's
no, it's
yeah,
real
it's
quick.
really quick, and it's like I actually had to write down a couple of scurry. I said scurry because it scurry like lot like lines or and moments. So when we get to like I just feel like the first part of this duo was really for me on the third rewatch, fourth rewatch. And like you said, we've been watching the shit out of these episodes. um I noticed that it was really about like they are still such children. And, Emma's really kind of struggling against that. And she's 12. And I get the being on the cusp of
That's
that.
practically a high schooler.
Yeah, it really
No, it is
is not
not.
like meant to. First of all, these years, like, you don't necessarily realize that until you have distance from it, which is why it's so cool to rewatch the series. But it's like
Hmm.
the years between 12 and 18 are so, like, every year counts. Every year is different and transformative, and like, you could really change in a matter of months. Like, months used to like mean so much more to me when I was younger than they do now. Now months just kind of pass. And I'm like, oh, I went to the gym a couple times and got my group exercises in. Like, it's not like transformative in terms of like my brain is rapidly changing, and I'm
Right.
going through a conflicting identity crisis and all these I still do have those, but it's so crazy to see her swinging on a tire swing
Yeah.
with her best friend, and then, like, to know that she's talking to a 16-year-old. Even what if he was a real 16-year-old? Like, he could, like, it could have easily
Still
been
creepy.
creepy even if he was a real 16-year-old. And that occurred to me. I was like, if my 12-year-old as a 28-year-old, because I'm the same age as Spike.
I'm
Ew.
older than
You're
Spike, so
like, I'm like,
I'm like Mr. Radich's age.
first of all, the way Mr. Raditch judges everybody at the at the reunion when they after Joey punches Keith out, he's just like, you guys are really, like, none of you have changed. He's like, I'm leaving. Um,
Yeah, because I trust Mr. Radich's judgment. I'm sorry.
he's,
After
he's
after the way he
hilarious.
treated Yick Yu in Degrassi Junior
Oh
High.
my God, this.
What was it? You the disorganized or whatever? God, Mr.
Oh,
Radich is a
first of
dick.
all,
We meet Emma. She's adorable. She's using tree mail. Remember, did you remember when email, like, it wasn't just.
no, it was like a hub hangout or whatever. Like a first for me, I used to just do the. My mom didn't let me do chat rooms. She said no, like, you're gonna get, like, cyber assaulted. So
She was not
she
wrong.
let me have a Hotmail, and then I also got a Yahoo. So I had
It used to be in like early internet days though that there was tree mail and whatever, and we were all really punny and
mm-hmm.
but so we meet Emma. She's 12. She's got this internet boyfriend and this that she's like crazy over, like only a 12-year-old can. I love when she closes her eyes to recall his last email.
Oh my
um
gosh, that
you
was cute.
know
That was cute.
we meet her best friend Manny. It is established within these first two episodes Manny is a fucking ride or
Mm-hmm.
die.
She
We meet
is.
their dorky friend JT, his dorky friend Toby. We've got this,
Thank
like,
goodness Toby moved there. I
right,
was.
or Emma be dead.
I think. Did we ever talk, like? I feel like we've talked about this 3-pack, but especially this 2-pack. We talked the shit out of this 2-pack. Did we ever talk about the fact that if Toby had not moved there, fucking Emma would be dead?
Emma would be
Like,
dead.
not
Emma would be 100% dead.
like, like, I think
Like, it's great that Manny was like, I don't know what's going on, but
something's up. Something's
but
up.
something's
But the
up. But
urgency.
without Toby,
Mm-mm.
JT wasn't gonna figure that
JT
shit
was
out.
like, yeah, and he says that like 3 times. Like, JT is just along for the ride. It's
JT is
like
just along
that
for the
part in the
ride.
movie where it's like everybody gets their assignments. Like, Toby, you're the brains of the operation. Manny, you're the ride or die best friend who knows something's the fuck up. And JT,
You're
you're
here.
yeah, you're just here. You're along for the ride, buddy.
That Emma is Spike's kid, which is a big deal. If I assume my mom never watched Degrassi. She grew up in Vermont in the 80s where there was like half a TV channel. You ride your snowmobile, you do really low stakes, stupid pranks.
Mm-hmm.
You don't watch Degrassi. But I assume that, like, for plenty of our generation, like, their parents were like, oh my gosh, that's Spike, that's Snake.
Right.
And it's kind of cool to, like, we see those early tie-ins. We see Snakes at the school being a tall, unproblematic king. This is a Snake stan account by the way.
We must make that known, like verify that.
Um, and then we meet Joey. Joey is meeting up with Lucy, who is in
I love
town.
Lucy. This is
She's getting
also a
ready.
Lucy.
Lucy's
Oh my,
amazing. This is a Lucy Stan
she
account.
should be in more fucking Degrassi.
But Lucy's about to like pack up her life and move to New Mexico, and Joey is clearly a horrible car salesman because he's like, "Well, what you need is this VW Beetle." Like,
They
no,
like I
Joey.
will give him the fact that they have having had one of those tiny cars, not a Beetle. I had a Cabrio. Very roomy fucking trunk. But to be fair, that car was is super tiny, and I would have never wanted to move anywhere, let alone to another state in that bitch.
I have an SUV for the first time in my life, and I wouldn't want to move to New Mexico in my SUV.
Right, and that's like actually what people try to like, move in their cars all the time. That's the most ideal situation is to have
Right.
something that's
But whatever. Joey will give you the shirt off his back. He just won't give you the car that you need. I
for a
noticed
specified
a
purpose.
really I noticed a really fun, unintentional, or not really fun, actually, it's kind of depressing, but unintentional
It's
Easter
an Easter
egg,
egg.
which is so Lucy's all like, Joey, come to the reunion. And he's like, I don't wanna because I'm sad and bald. And then she's like, Joey, at least come out for drinks with us tonight. And he's like, "Rah, rah, rah, I can't do it. I have to wash my hair or something." And she's like, it's been a year since your wife died. Which is obviously more than enough time to grieve the loss of your wife and the mother of your child. But then we find out that his dead wife's name is Julia,
Mm-hmm.
which seems inconsequential. Definitely wasn't a intentional choice at the time. Um, but later on, many, many years later, spoiler alert, we meet someone else with a dead, not wife, but girlfriend named Julia that it takes him a year to get over. Emma and her group of friends are helping with the reunion and whatever, but Emma is really, really hung up on Jordan. Um,
Yeah. She to the point where she
and
like breaks into the
right
to the
to
media
check her.
immersion lab to check her
Bitch, like you
email.
don't live 2.5 blocks from Degrassi. Um, like, Christ,
She
Emma,
sees it
get
and
it
she's like,
together.
ooh, like big bug eyes. Like, Emma, if you don't stop acting sprung, you left the house maybe 40 minutes ago. Like, please just live your life before cell phones are everywhere and they take over. It's to like just
Right.
enjoy this unproblematic time. But yeah, she's breaks into and then you know what, Manny's face, I loved it when when she's like, oh, reading the email, oh, he says he wants to meet me tomorrow. Manny's like, what in the like, do you
Well, and
not judging you but like concerned for you, like why are you excited, like shut it down. Like,
well, and you know what I just thought of is here's the big difference between America and Canada is I, as an American, would never go meet somebody from a place called Yellowknife. I would be like, yep, nope, you are not somebody I
care, like I don't want to be involved, embroiled with any, with a person like if, with a person from a place called Yellowknife. That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know. Emma's just got a lot of questionable. She's just like, I don't know if it's because he's he's like the idealized, he makes himself like the idealized version of what every girl wants her first boyfriend to be. Like she's like I think she said, oh yeah, she's like, I've never had a boyfriend who's this considerate or some bullshit. And then,
Girl, you've never had a
yes, man, that's what
boyfriend.
made she's like, but you've never had a boyfriend, so how do you know? Like, like
Um,
Mandy's like calling her out on some very obvious bullshit. Like,
yeah, yeah. But so okay, so we've met the kids. episode one ends, we transition into episode two. We're still getting more of like the returning cast. Caitlin's dating this total, or she's engaged to this total fucking douche canoe. That's just
He's a
like,
Pisces.
I mean, so am
You know
I.
what? And it's
And
fine. But you do remember, like I have a friend who's also a Pisces. I feel like it always depends on what like month, what kind of what you know, like it's a June Cancer and a July Cancer. You people always ask which one are you?
yeah, I'm a March
I have
Pisces,
yes.
just like
Yes.
Caitlin. You know, and actually, okay, that's fair because Caitlin's what, like 28?
Mm.
I I made a lot of bad dating decisions until I met my husband, and I was like 27 when that happened. And like right up until then, it had been like, oh man, right up like before my husband was just like, could not have been less interested in me if he tried, but like was a people pleaser. And I was like, this is fine, this is fine. Thought I was in love with the motherfucker. And I look back now and I'm just like, oh God. But you know, whatever, whatever. So Caitlin's got bad taste in men. Although to be fair, I feel like that kind of follows Caitlin throughout the series. Like, so I think Joey probably like just broke her brain when he fucked Tessa Campanelli all summer.
You know
Um,
what? And being cheated on is fucking traumatic. I
it
don't blame
is.
her. And he not only, to break off and give that context, because I do think it's important. You watch it for the first time and you're just like, you don't understand his face and the combination of like sadness and regret and everything when he sees her wearing a fedora, which I have to mention, his combo used to be Hawaiian shirts and fedoras. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing to see her in the fedora. But to recap their arc in the Schools Out, which TV movie which served as the finale for Degrassi High. Essentially, Joey wants his cake and he's gonna eat it, and the cake is Tessa Campanelli. And from a purely like objective point of view, he was a piece of shit from all angles. He's been long time dating Caitlyn, and long enough, and he has wanted her for a while. Like it's like a relationship he really was excited to be in, and then as soon as she goes away for the summer, he's like, oh, well, I guess I'll fall
Yeah.
into somebody else's pussy.
Yeah, Joey's one of those, I don't know, there's something about him that makes me want to like him, but he sucks.
He's
He's
a
the Nate Fisher of
he's a little
Degrassi.
puppy dog, and I think that it's like Craig, except for Craig's got some other shit going on. Joey never really has any other shit going on. His biggest struggle in the entire series is that he had like he got like left back, so he had to try extra hard in school. That's about it, because he didn't fucking do shit. He
Right.
lollygagged and he made fun of people because and he didn't study.
They bring it in strong with returning cast and with cameos from other old cast. We get to see at some point I want to go through and just pause on the reunion scenes and see all who all's there. Kathleen's still looking 14 and 40.
But yeah, I definitely loved how they reintroduced the characters to us, and Joey and Caitlin seeing each other again after the whole like drama of their last meeting. Basically, we can assume that they haven't seen each other since the events of Schools Out.
Yeah,
So that's drama.
the hotel room scene. I think it's really well done. I think it's really creepy. Like I've said, we've watched these episodes multiple times. I can't get through that one a second time.
Yeah.
First off though, not to victim blame, but Emma.
It's like for me it's so bad because in the first part I'm just like, Emma, you're just such a kid, and then in the second part you're like, okay, she realizes how deep in
Right.
shit she is.
No, but it's just like, we've talked about the red flags, like
Oh yes, she
a
ignores
room
them
full of
all.
teenage boys and you've got
There's
one
one pizza. That's
pizza.
what we were saying. One pizza. One
And then when he
pizza.
goes when he goes and knocks on like the door to the other suite, there's no
No
sound.
ruckus. There's nothing. There's just yeah.
Um
Red
And
flag
then
alert.
also, I was going back through my notes from my first watch, and, she goes to open the door. She can't get it open.
Mm-hmm.
And then when Snake and Spike show up and they're pounding on the door, all of a sudden Emma can open a fucking door. But anyway, but that's this is an Emma Nelson slander podcast, just in case anybody was wondering.
Right. And I mean,
And
for good reason. Yeah.
if you feel otherwise, let us know. We'd love to have you on to discuss the merits of Emma Nelson. And we'll give credit when credit is due to Emma Nelson, but by and large, this is an Emma Nelson slander pod.
Yeah, we're not unreasonable. We have ample evidence that we're
We just
right.
don't like
Yeah, we
her.
just don't like her for very documented reasons.
But
Yeah.
but the scene itself, like the way he's filming, the way there's something extra creepy to me about how he's like setting the scene. He's like, so Emma, nobody knows where you are.
He's a repeat offender. As they say,
Clearly.
he said the guy who comes to get the computer at the end says he's a repeat offender. They think they can finally get the creep. And it's like
But
the way
like,
he's got dozens of these, and it's skeevy. Manny literally brought it to the table and had that itchy feeling that only a best friend can have, and rode to the resource that Toby is, because no one else would have been able to hack into email at that time. Like,
no.
Toby understood, like, okay, the internet is not a safe place. And like, I need to, like, here's what's going on. Like, I need to spell this out for you. He is preying on her through her email.
I
Like,
have always thought too that he's not reading or he's not looking into her soul, he's reading her emails is such a like memorable and iconic line to me.
mm-hmm, absolutely.
But no, Toby saves the day. I mean, Manny assembles the Scooby gang, but Toby's really out here doing the work.
Yeah,
And without him, Emma would just be
he
dead.
really, honestly, because like that whole, like, oh, when they're gathering before they start trying to hack her email, and him saying like this girl was found hacked into pieces and all of that, it's like, but I mean, truly, what was going to happen was very grim. Like, let's be a little scarier than the show alludes to. What would have actually happened if I know this scenario that played in through my head, if even if Toby wasn't there, Manny would have still been, probably at some point in the evening, went to go find Spike,
Spike, who would know who her favorite band
and
is.
would probably be able to figure it out. But it would have been too late for her to actually, like, some harm would have come to her. She would have
Right.
been assaulted in some way. It would not have been, oh, she's unscathed except for some disgusting petting, we'll call it, which I hesitate to summarize it to that because it's really fucking gross. But
No, it's
and
still
it's
traumatizing.
disgusting. She was still traumatized. But like, what could have happened? Oh my god.
What
With
exactly?
Toby, she owes the fact that she basically she just needed some very intense therapy for a couple of years. And
Right.
and she's fine. She can use the internet
Instead
safely.
of being like dead in some weird cabin in Yellowknife, poorly taxidermied.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Oh my
but
gosh.
everything turns out okay. The kids rush into the reunion just in the nick of time. They grab Spike. Snake comes along because Snake's got big dad energy.
I
Like, and
actually
yeah, he's known Emma since she was born. Spike is a friend, but like you get the feeling like Snake could have been in the grocery store and overheard some woman he didn't know finding out that her child was in this danger, and he would have been like, "Here we go."
the
Like,
exact line he says is, "You make a move, I will break your neck." Clear. And if you don't want him to teach your children, to father your children, and to protect your children, I don't know what you want.
right,
I don't know what you, and
right.
I'm, by the way, I'm not even heterosexual, guys. So that's saying something. Like,
Um,
He's awesome.
And so, that's kind of a bit of a deeper recap on Mother Child Reunion Part 1 and 2. All right, so we've kind of dived into the episodes a bit. We've started kind of coming up with different segments. Some of them will apply to all episodes, some of them won't. One thing we're going to try is a segment that we are, for right now,
Shots
calling Shots
fired.
Fired, which is moments of insult in
Yeah.
Degrassi.
Yeah. I
Do you want
definitely.
to start with your
Yeah, so
favorite?
for me, for Mother and Child, part one, part two is too deep. Not going there. Part one, when Manny and Emma are on the tire swing, and Emma says to, just in defense to JT,
Well, JT's like hypothesizing that Jordan is actually some old guy from
yes,
Saskatchewan.
well,
Spoiler alert,
he's
he's
not
right.
wrong. He's fucking on them, and it hits too close to home. So she's like, well, you still wet the bed to JT, but I'm friends with you. And JT's like, ha ha ha, but that stung. Like that hit him in the
Right.
right in the. Okay, I wasn't just minding my business. Shots were fired, and for no
For
reason at
no
all, other
reason,
than Emma
really.
was really about to be confronted by the the fucking results of her decision making in the next episode.
And then, there really wasn't much in season 2. Episode 2. There's a lot going on there, and
We've already unpacked it.
um, we've already unpacked it. I can't unpack
Uh,
it anymore without repacking
please.
it.
Okay, wait, no. Okay, I am gonna be a little controversial because I think I did say it. Yeah, we definitely did just say both of us we're not going to do in part two, but
Whatever, we'll
I
come
did
back to
put
it.
find one in part two that I thought was like not a shots fired. I'm a fire some shots at Emma for this, but this is completely wrong. Why is she still holding the slice of pizza when she runs into the
Right.
fucking bathroom? And then she's holding it in a way that I've never seen anybody hold a slice of pizza before. Like it's fake. So, pow pow, shots fired up in this in Mother and Child Reunion Part 2. There you go. I did one.
I like that you're
I'm
firing the
firing the
shots,
shots
though.
because
You're like, I've had enough of
I've
your
had enough of
shit,
you should
Emma.
drop the slice of pizza, Emma. Drop it. To the person in the props
Yeah.
department, just say like, "This is really fragile slice of pizza." No, I'm joking.
No, I mean, I get it,
She
though.
was
She's,
in
like,
shock.
scared.
That's why
She's in
this was a
shock.
controversial shots fired. However, I'm sticking with it and I'm proud of it because I wrote it down and I did not intend for it to be. It was just like a thought and I'm like, you know what? It is kind of a dumb thing to be paying attention to. But that's what I was
I'm
paying
here for
attention
it. I
to.
love, though.
It's like, why did this all just drop
I
this pizza
thought.
slice?
I thought that that shots fired was going to be, insults taken from the show, but I'm also fine with firing some shots at these
These
characters on
characters
occasion.
for some of the bullshit.
Um,
I've gotta, right, like, we gotta wiggle with the category. Make it work for us.
Another thing that we're going to want to be talking about is hat watch. Hats are
Prevalent.
unintentionally or intentionally very important to Degrassi. And we start out strong, actually, with Joey Jeremiah's iconic
Yeah.
fedora. And we first see it on Manny. It kind of like it makes its way through
Mm-hmm.
Degrassi in this episode. We see it on Manny. She looks
Mm-hmm.
adorable. Then it's on JT, and it's just like this like personification of the awkwardness of youth. He's like drowning
Yeah.
in this hat. And then it goes on Snake's head, and Snake, God loves Snake. That man is a dingus. He is a dork. He is a doofus. I love him with all of my heart. He does not look cool in that hat.
He's not.
And
He
then
doesn't have a
finally it
hat head though.
lands.
So
He doesn't. No, it's like
just
I'm always so weird about hats because I feel like unless I'm just wearing like a winter hat, I'm like, hey, look at me, I'm wearing a hat. And like it's just I
yeah.
feel you, Snake. I feel for you. I get it. And then finally the hat lands on the perfectly coiffed head of Degrassi's own Caitlin
Mm-hmm.
Ryan from Ryan's Planet, born March 2nd. She's a
She
Pisces.
sure is.
Um,
She sure is.
and Caitlin looks
Hmm.
lovely. She looks stylish. She looks effortlessly cool. She looks like anybody who's wearing a fedora is trying to
And
look.
there's like a slow mo,
Um,
dramatic. Well,
yeah,
yeah,
longing like Joey spots her through the
yeah, yeah.
window. It's
Hmm.
intense. There aren't really a lot of other hats. JT's wearing like
Blue,
a
like
plain blue
baseball cap.
baseball cap, which honestly, plain
Art.
baseball caps have always been weird to me,
It's a.
but
I
it's
mean,
not.
it's one of. It's like a trademark, but I mean, other than that, like of his, but like other than that, I feel as though family politics is severely lacking in other
Mm,
hat instances. So, at least from our main cast,
uh,
which I mean, if there's a funky hat in the back, we're gonna find it, but I just didn't see any. So, and I was looking,
yeah.
but so let us know if you saw any
Um,
hats that we didn't see.
and I think Cat Watch kind of brings us
Fashion
into
corner,
the
the fashion
fashion.
corner. I don't think we can get trademark for that. Like the
Um,
girls were.
But we start off strong. First and foremost, it's Emma's first outing in the iconic
Mhm.
dolphin pants.
Oh, those dolphin
Um,
pants. They're an X. That kick
those
that she
dolphin
does
pants.
when she like kicks off and like rolls on the bed in the second episode, and like you see those things
Hmm.
in action. You see all of the decal on the side of those pants.
Well, and I would like to point out, okay, so this is an Emma Nelson slander podcast. We've
Mhm.
established that. It is also very much, at least from where I'm standing, a Miriam McDonald
Oh, we
stan
love
account.
her. Okay, because it's like it's so different.
Miriam
That's
McDonald,
it's completely different.
she does so well in these two
Hmm.
episodes. Like, I am scared
Hmm.
for her, you know?
Oh, it's so heavy to think that she, as like, because, I think that one of the important things to discuss about Degrassi as a whole, especially next gen, they gave prominent storylines to actors who were able to handle that material.
And so, a question that we are going to ask of each episode is, did it go
Yeah,
there?
for I think that's a big, that was the tagline. Is it to Cressy? It goes there. If you ever watched a promo, if you haven't, look them up on YouTube. They are there. That is the tagline of the show. And, for the three pack, Caroline and I are just gonna just go through and yeah, and
We'll take
say
it one
the
episode at a
episode that
time.
just yes or no, did it go there?
So, Mother Child Reunion, part one, I think, first off, like, not a lot happens in that one that's high stakes, but it's
Hmm.
leading to everything. We also are seeing the the old characters. We're getting kind of some follow up on stuff, seeing where they're at, those dynamics, how
Hmm.
those come into play. So I'm gonna say that episode one does not go there, but it does
It's
get on the
gassing up.
road.
It's
It's
gassing
on
up.
its way. Whereas episode two
Yeah.
absolutely goes there,
I
you
feel
know?
like as a two-parter, you just need to watch that shit straight through. If you were watching it week by week, you would know that part two is going to go hard. Oh, it's going to go hard. But you were laying the groundwork, but you know that there's still more groundwork to be laid, and that you and that you're
Mm.
missing out on some of the key scenes that you want, and it's all coming in part two. So I will agree that it's like, okay, we are laying the framework, but have we started laying the actual foundation halfway? Sure. Yeah,
We've gotten
but
on
we're
the
not
highway.
we're not rushing. We're not even toward, you know,
We're headed there, but we haven't gone
our
there
exit
yet.
ramp is not in sight. But then it's like a roller coaster.
And then another thing we want to talk about is the shining stars of Degrassi and the super bummers
Yeah,
from each
don't hold
week.
us to that we might change the names of things. Yeah,
We're trying
might
shit
give you
out
new
right now,
categories, names,
okay?
categories, whatever.
But so, and we've kind of decided like we're talking recurring characters when we talk these things. Like,
It's a plot
obviously,
device.
Jordan is the superest bummer, but yeah, he's not a character, he's a plot device. He was asked to come in and be evil, and
Hmm.
he did exactly that. Same with Keith. That guy
And we
sucks. Those
don't
two
ever
guys are the
see these
suckiest guys
bitches
in these
again,
first two
so it's not
episodes.
like we can.
But they
Yeah,
don't really count. And so I would say the shining stars of these first two episodes are absolutely Snake
yeah.
and Manny. Manny is a damn good friend. Manny is a ride or die, and Emma
Hmm.
does not deserve her. You know, that she was like, she's checking the TV fucking guide because she's
Yeah.
like, something's off with Emma. Without that girl, you'd
I
be
was
dead.
gonna
Without Toby,
say,
you'd be dead too. But without Manny, we
yeah,
don't even get Toby involved. And then Snake with his like, you make a move and
yeah.
I'll break your neck.
The
Like,
heroes of the situation.
um,
I would agree with that for the two pack. If I had to have three shining stars, which there are many stars in the sky, and I can have three of them, it would be
mhm.
Snake and Manny and fucking Toby, because I don't know if Toby's maybe got one more time to be a shining star, and then he's unfortunately rendered like inefficient. Like he doesn't do shit. So it's like, there
Yeah,
you go, Toby York. You are Toby York.
yeah,
Toby Isaacs. See, he's so fucking interchangeable with JT sometimes in these early episodes. But I definitely feel like
right.
he played, like, as said earlier, had he not moved there, some real terrible shit would have happened to fucking Emma. Beyond what obviously
Yeah.
terrible shit that happened to her. It would have been up several levels had it not been for Toby.
No, I think Toby is
Yeah,
a
he
shining
is.
star
He's
as
just,
well. As far as
he had to be, he's the brains of the operation behind Manny's obvious
right.
brains of the operation. So
And then as far as super bummers go, not to victim blame, but fucking Emma.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to agree with that, just on the caveat that, like, she was given way too much
She's being nasty
latitude
to
to
her
be a
mom.
little. First of all, I have to just step back, and as much as we love Spike, because she's got the parenting style that I want, but the parenting style that I know, if I actually have, I might raise a little hoe like Emma, who just talks back when she wants and doesn't. So for me, it's like I have to put some accountability on Spike, because there's so much
There are
latitude
so
she
many red,
gives
like your
her.
child has completely changed her. Like she's being squirrely and secretive and
Yeah.
whatever, and like, and also honorable mention to
Oh yeah,
Caitlin.
it's
Like
like,
you
right.
don't
If we're
just
doing
like
three,
not.
we did three shining stars. We could do three super bummers. We can
It's
do
our
a,
show. We
because
can
there's
do
a lot of
100
fucking
super
pieces of
bummers if
shit
we
in these
want.
episodes, in these two episodes. But literally, I do feel like Caitlyn set Emma up, gave her the push towards failure that she was already riding a horse towards failure, but she was a little bit hesitant. Would she have still met Jordan if Caitlyn did not give her that push?
Right.
Oh,
And Caitlin could
Caitlyn,
not have
it's
possibly
kind that's
known
kind of why
that,
it's like,
you know.
she gets the blame because she is a reoccurring character who has to come back and deal with the actions, kind of. They don't
Well,
really talk
and
about it, but she
yeah.
has a further relationship with Emma. And I think she gives her more bad advice at some point. Um, possibly. But,
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sure. But by and large, I
Yes.
think it's
Yeah.
Spike. You know, I think she
She
doesn't
does not
parent through all
parent.
of this shit. And then like your child, I
Hmm.
get that you're scared. But your child has just been through something horribly traumatic. And what she needs right now is her mom to love her and
Hmm.
make her feel safe, not for her mom to call her an idiot. Is she an idiot? Yes, we have established that. This is an Emma Nelson slander podcast. But,
She's
like, come
12,
on,
and
Spike.
honestly, you set the tone for what's normal in her world. And in her world, she has the computer in her room. She has access to it 24/7. She could be up in the middle of the fucking night emailing with this little dude, this big ass fucking weirdo. And you have no idea because the computer is in her room, not downstairs in the fucking living room where she would have to sneak and you would hear her. I don't know. There's just a little bit more of like,
Mm-hmm.
she's got so much fucking freedom, and Spike, you set that up for her. You made it normal, and talking back is normal too, because you know what, she wouldn't have been there's just no way that the level of respect that
Right.
she has for her to talk to her mom like, you know, get out of my room, bitch, basically. Like, did you not?
Right.
Like, she has to go in her room to use the computer so she could show her friend the reunion website. And also, I know we didn't. I'm going to do a super bummer to the retcon of the fucking fact that Spike and Caitlyn were never friends. In the original series, they are acquaintances. They hung around the same people, but they are not friends. They're friends in the same way that like fucking Emma and I don't even know, Ashley are friends. How many conversations do they have? Several?
Right.
Maybe.
Right.
And then, oh, suddenly they're best friends. It's like they did a
Um,
reunion. I'd be like, bitch, they never talked.
they never. They bonded
They
over
bonded over
GMO
GMO foods
foods.
and the fact that, like, one of their mutual good friend literally got paralyzed and had trauma behind actually two of their best friends. So it's like they didn't even know each other. They knew each other through people.
Join us next week to talk about family politics, aka Degrassi. Sometimes it really doesn't go there. Eye of the Beholder, in which Paige is the worst, and Parents' Day, in which Paige continues to suck and also Toby is a badass.
And once again, I'm Avis,
And I'm Caroline.
and we'll see you next week. Well, we won't see you, but you know what I mean.
This episode of Your Mom's Podcast was made possible in part by Jeremiah Motors, Tree Mail, and support from listeners like you. If you'd like to further support our show, you can follow our Facebook page and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at YMPadcast and TikTok at Your Mom's Space Padcast. You can also visit our website at www.padcast.com. Your Mom's Podcast is available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. If you feel so inclined, subscriptions and reviews are another great way to support the show. And if you'd like to support us financially, you can subscribe to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/Your Mom's Padcast. And remember, that's Padcast. PAHDCAST. Thank you.